smartwatch for 5 days. So this is not a full demo of Android Wear. Mark did a full demonstration on how it works. Put that link down below if you want to sort of get in more detail about how to actually go through the OS. I'm going to break this review up into two parts. What I like, what I don't like, and then give it a final score because I'm a positive person. Let's start with likes. First, Android being an open platform has lent itself to crazy fragmentation. You got skins, custom ROMs, and just other forked versions like what Amazon's done. And all kind of creates potentially totally different user experiences depending on what device you are using. If you use HTC or Samsung, it could look totally different. Not so with Android Wear. No fragmentation is always going to look the same. There are different APIs manufacturers can get access to, like heart rate monitors, things like that, but the core OS is always going to look the same, and I really, really like that. So no matter what Android Wear device you pick up, it's going to be the exact same experience all the way across it. So I think Samsung makes some of the best screens going, and their AMOLED technology is totally top of the industry, and I'm really happy to see it here as well. The 320 by 320 resolution on its 1.63-inch screen never felt small, and I think that it really looked great indoors. The button on the side I thought was really, really helpful. Long pressing it brings up the settings, and short press it dim screens. And I know what you're saying, because I'd say it too. Dude, you're talking about a button, and ordinarily I wouldn't, but the G-Watch doesn't have a button, which means if you want to power that sucker on, you got to plug it into the charger, and it's really, really annoying. So button, thumbs up. I like that it's IP67, dust and water resistance. That was kind of nice. My son is teething like crazy, and it survived like some serious just gum rubbing without any issue. I didn't take it in the shower, but washing my hands and that kind of stuff, never any issue at all. The mic on this too, and subsequently Google Now, was super accurate, and it got my voice right almost every single time, even with ambient noise in the background, the baby screaming, with people talking to me. It got really everything almost all the time. I was worried it was going to feel a little bit heavy, but it felt really nice on my wrist. It's kind of a perfect weight, I think, coming in at 59 grams. I was worried that also might feel a bit underpowered, but it never felt underpowered at all. Everything I threw at it handled great, never lagged at all. So don't worry about power with a sort of 1.2, 1.3 gigahertz processor inside. And if it seems like I'm reaching for positives here, talking about buttons and that kind of stuff, there's definitely a reason for that. Let's get to the list of dislikes now. So I feel like Android Wear devices should have gone the same way as Google Glass and had a public beta tag associated with them. This, in a lot of ways, feels like a very public beta. And as they stand right now, it's really hard to see the utility on Android Wear. Before everybody jumps down my throat, I get the app support isn't there yet. And when it is, the device is going to do way more. But right now, about a week or so after launch, it's really hard to recommend. So let's start with what it's supposed to do great, Google Now. So if you just wanted to view cards and emails, it works. If that's what you're looking for, and that's all you want from a smartwatch, jump in, no problem at all. It's going to do exactly what you need. When it comes to interacting with Google Now and getting more info, it's a totally different story. Asking you to do a search for you, prompts you to open the results on your phone. If you aren't setting an alarm or reminder, it's mostly just going to ask you to take out your phone anyway, and that's kind of the whole point of this, is to make you not have to take out your phone. Battery life on its 300 milliamp hour battery is about what you'd expect. It'll get you through a whole day, but you're going to have to charge the thing about every 24 hours. And don't think, like I did, you can charge it from regular USB port and be fine. It is going to be painfully slow. You have to plug it into actually a wall out to get fully charged in less than 3 hours. And speaking of charging, I don't know what Samsung was thinking with this little charging doodad you got to plug into it. It is absolutely awful. It's plastic, it's flimsy. The little pins that hold it to the side, they're going to break all the time. They really did a poor job designing that. It does work, but it looks way less elegant than what LG has done with its cool sort of magnetic little box that the device falls into. So since this is a watch, you're probably going to want to look at it outside, and if you do, you might as well just take your phone out of your pocket, because essentially it's a pretty piece of jewelry when the sun is out. You can't see the screen at all. In fact, we made a whole video on visibility on the devices, so if you want to check that out, hit the link down below. So a watch band, what are you going to do with a watch? You're going to put it on in the morning, take it off, put it on. It's got to be an easy thing to do. Samsung, instead of going with the regular watch band, went with this weird sort of watch band where you got to push it inside of these holes to get it to work, which is fine with two hands. When you're putting it on one-handed, it is really hard to sort of line up to where you want it to be. When you find out where you want it to be, to sort of push it inside of those holes, it is, I mean, it's a mess. And I've gotten better at it now, but it is not an easy experience. I don't know why they went with that. First thing I would do is put on a totally different band. On the back of it though, it's also got a heart rate monitor, which works, but it's only good when you're standing still, which kind of defeats the purpose of a heart rate monitor. If you want to be on the treadmill and see your heart rate, you know, while you're jumping up and down, it's not really going to work for you, so keep that in mind. So the big thing for me is when you can say a device like the Gear 2 has more practical applications right now, you know you've got a problem in the tech world. Is it worth the 200 bucks? For me, not right now. But if you believe it'll have developer support, or you want Google Now notifications on your wrist, then go for it. Just know what you're getting into going into it. If you're expecting more than what you get with the Pebble, as it stands now, I think you're going to be disappointed. So this gets, on the Techno Buffalo score, a rather disappointing 5.5. It's got a ton of potential. Platform I think can do a lot, much like Google Glass, but it doesn't do a lot right now. If something happens, new apps come out, we'll update our review. But as this stands, in sort of middle of July 2014, Samsung Gear Live gets a 5.5, and rather disappointing score. I'm hopeful that more things are going to come. I'm excited to see what else Android Wear is going to do, but man, it's going to go back in the drawer for a while. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe right here to be the first ones to know whenever new videos get uploaded. We got a ton of stuff. We do phones, tablets, cars, anything that has to do with consumer electronics that's to be plugged in or uses batteries, we review.